Okay, guys, this is my review for UFC 120. Let's first start off with the Bisbee and Akiyama fight. Bisbee comes in and defeats Akiyama, unanimous decision. His fight was pretty one-sided. He uses his boxing skills. Akiyama pretty much did what he did against Lieben. He pretty much gassed himself out. He gasses himself out probably in the first round, and after that it's all downhill from there. So I think this will probably be his last fight. Maybe the UFC will give him one more shot, but I could really see Dana really kicking him out of the UFC just for those two losses, because it's just first round is he always head-hunting, trying to go for that knockout. Then after that it's all downhill. He's dead tired. Maybe not as tired he was in the Lieben fight, but tired enough to where he basically got outworked by Bisbee. Does Bisbee, is he like one shot away from a title shot? I don't think so. I think he probably has to prove himself. Probably about 3 more fights if he wins in a good fashion. Maybe he might have a shot at the title, but as of right now, he's kind of sporadic in his wins. He really hasn't had a really he doesn't put an end to matches. He always wins by a decision or whatnot. So even though he did win and it was a one-sided deal, he still needs to finish his fights to really show a dominant, like, this guy is not even on my league. Because even with the fight where he was going against Akiyama, I still felt like there was a chance Akiyama could catch him and win the fight. So there you go on that one. So once again, Bisbee wins the fight, unanimous decision. Then we have Dan Hardy versus Conduit. That fight, pretty much this was a good fight between both of these two. These guys both went out and pretty much it was a stand-up match. These guys weren't going to go to the ground. Conduit said that he's going to hang in. He's going to prove his point that he could hang in there, and he's a better striker than Dan Hardy. Dan Hardy wanted that, so they both got what they wanted, and Dan Hardy lost. He ends up getting KO'd in the first round. So Dan Hardy loses and probably won't be back in title contention to fight GSP for a while. But Carlos actually, used his punching power and proved that he has that punching power to knock someone out, especially Dan Hardy, who we haven't seen get knocked out like that. So Carlos Conduit wins in the first round by KO. Then we have John Hathaway versus Mike Powell. That fight was great also too. Mike Powell really controlled Hathaway with his wrestling, and big surprise there. Even though Hathaway is supposedly pretty decent in wrestling, he just got really controlled by Mike Powell's wrestling. I think at one point Hathaway was in a crazy triangle, and he was locked in. I think Powell could have submitted him, but he chose to basically use it to pretty much pound Hathaway. He didn't pound him out, but he used it to do a lot of damage. But he ended up not finishing Hathaway, and it goes all 3 rounds, and Powell wins by unanimous decision, giving Hathaway his first loss. So let's see how Hathaway bounces back from this. I still am a fan of Hathaway. I would like to see him bounce back and come back and see. Let's see what happens. Then we have Congo versus Brown. This fight was it was mediocre. These guys, Brown was catching Congo in a couple of hits. Congo really wasn't. How should I say? Congo wasn't really counterpunching. He started using his technique later in the rounds, but he was still getting caught with some crazy stuff, and he seemed to be on this game of really damaging Brown's leg by putting him against the cage and kneeing his inside of his leg, inside of his thigh. It worked to some extent, but both of these guys end up getting a draw, end up getting a unanimous draw. So you know, from the point that was deducted from Congo. I think he had 1 point deducted from repeatedly grabbing Brown's shorts. So Congo really lost his fight on his own from continuing to grab the shorts after the ref told him to stop. But he still wanted to grab the shorts. And he even still grabbed the shorts after he got the point deducted. So Congo, this was his fight to lose. And even though it was a draw, he didn't lose it. I mean, in essence, he lost because he should have won. So that's that. And then we have Wilkes versus Patrick. Wilkes ends up beating, Patrick ends up defeating Wilkes in a unanimous decision in that. So all in all, UFC 120 was decent. I enjoyed probably about 3 fights out of the 5, which is pretty good. So that's my review for UFC 120. If you guys please comment, comment, rate, and subscribe if you like my video. And I'll see you guys next time on the next one. Thanks.